up guys, thanks for checking out the video. Today we are at Vanlab Durango. We're gonna meet Rob and check out his custom Toyota Chinook camper build. What's up, Rob?
Welcome
Good to see
Vanlab.
you. Yeah, thanks.
This is my personal project here that I've been working on for the last, getting to 2.5 years. Definitely more of an emergency.
Nice.
It started as a standard cab, 4-wheel drive, 2.7 liter with a 5-speed manual. It's a 2008.
So it was blue.
It was blue.
You said.
Yeah.
And now it has Raptor liner. Or?
Exactly. This Raptor. It's the easiest paint that I've ever worked with. So it's not meant to like come out super shiny or whatever.
No.
It's just like very utilitarian, like very scratch and dent resistant.
It is kind of like a moonlander spec.
It is.
We'll get to the camper in a sec, but like suspension, wheel and tire setup, I'm wondering about. So what did you do for wheel and tires?
So these are the Falcon Rubitrek, kind of like the Wild Peaks. They're very similar. They're a little lighter duty and a little cheaper.
Okay.
Which just for budget reasons, that's what I went with.
Yeah, for sure.
But they've performed excellent.
So what is the lift?
So the lift is a Bilston 5100 lift kit that Toy Tech did. So it has like some Toy Tech shocks in the rear, Toy Tech springs in the front with Bilston 5100s.
Yeah.
And then this year I added the SPC upper control arm. Looking at all the different upper control arm options, I think that this one is probably the closest to OEM that's like rebuildable.
Yeah.
Also offers that like larger camber adjustment for lifts and stuff like that.
So the camper mod, you pulled a stock Tacoma bed off. You got this Chinook camper. Would you say it's 50 years old?
It's a 76 or 77. So
wow.
You can kind of tell if you're super familiar with Chinooks that this seems to be a little bit longer, and I extended it by about 10 inches. So I cut this wall back, re-glassed it in on this side, and wanted to really match the windshield line with the front of the camper.
Nice.
Because the original Toyota truck cabs were like that big.
Yeah.
So like it fit the cab for the time, and I kind of wanted to make sure that look kind of carried through the bigger truck.
So at some point you don't have the camper on yet.
Yeah.
And you just have your truck, and you have to cut the rear wall off of it.
So the weekend that these two became one, that was like the last step to do before getting these two.
What do you do that with?
So I used it's called a saber saw. It's like a tiny sawzall meant for cutting sheet metal.
So it's like a straight blade that's
exactly a straight blade. I used the curve of the window, so like I kind of kept the windows like that. I kind of just cut below the window. Yep. To make that box. And then I made just a large piece of sheet metal, pretty much, that like is like a trim ring. Yeah. That this what's called an accordion gasket can pinch onto.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that thing is like, that was the coolest thing to find.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah,
I guess.
Exactly what I needed. It just like pretty much like pinches to 1/8 inch, 3/16 material on either end, and then it's just like a donut, pretty much.
Yeah.
You cut it to the length and pop it in there, and it worked out pretty well.
Let's see it. We're gonna run this pop top.
So
now we're inside.
I currently just built yesterday actually these support arms that kind of just lock the camper roof in place more. That was an issue I ran into, was there's just like a little bit of play in the system where when you're off-roading, it gets a little loud. So these have really helped with that.
Triangulation.
Yes, lots of triangulation.
Yeah.
So the issue that I've been running into mostly has been in this arm on this side, and how this works is this actuator is pulling this carriage in, and just the angle is so shallow that it is just kind of like running into itself a little bit. So in the future, that's probably a change that I'll make. once it gets past a certain point of height, it works a lot better.
It looks pretty cool.
Thank you. So yeah, that's the fully extended height of it.
Yeah. So eventually there's some material connecting it. I don't know what is
material.
Tent material. Yeah.
I have a friend who's a upholsterer who's gonna eventually, when I get to that point, make that tent material that's gonna wrap around it and just kind of seal it all in.
Yeah.
This Chinook camper originally came with a manual pop top, but Rob built this electronically actuated version himself. It's powered by a Renogy battery system currently using a 100 amp hour self-heating lithium phosphate battery. The system is designed to eventually add on a 2000 watt inverter and charging from solar, alternator, and shore power. Underneath, you can see the structure that Rob fabricated to accommodate the Chinook camper on the truck's frame. Then I'll let Rob tell you about the drivetrain.
So the 2.7 liter engine is a stock 2TR FE Toyota engine. It's pretty bulletproof. These things have been known to run well past 350,000 miles with no modifications. Have only done basic maintenance to it. The first modification I think I really did to my truck that wasn't like a instruction manual option was this very cheap Smitty built air pump. And does what it needs to do, fills up bikes' tires or fills up your tires after off-roading. Other than that, you have kind of like an accessory panel with a Blue Sea fuse here to kind of keep all that nice and tidy without jumping a bunch of wires off the battery. You can also see the stock color of the truck here was this beautiful indigo ink blue, I think is what it's called, or indigo pearl. And yeah, the inside here has been pretty much just maintained and left alone.
Did you add leaf springs?
Yeah, I basically took a two-wheel drive Tacoma's leaf pack and cut it up.
Yeah,
So
to just add some?
Just to add some. So these last two here were where I cut the middle leaves on a donor set of leaves and then just added them to this leaf pack.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't make for a comfortable ride by any means, but it's enough to support the weight of the camper and anything I throw in it.
This is an exhaust for your heater?
Yeah, this is an exhaust for that S-bar heater. Above it you have a muffler, and then kind of on this inside part right here is where your intake and fuel lines are coming in. 50 amp shore power plug, so once this inverter for the electrical system is installed, I'll be able to charge and power the inside of the camper up to a 50 amp charging limit pretty much. And this will just be an exterior outlet, so like if I'm outside and I want to cook or want to use a low amperage draw device, I can plug in a laptop or do any of that.
Rob works here and does camper van conversions for a living at Vanlab, but this is a super ambitious project. Like Rob said, he's over 2 years into this build at this point, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's at in another 2. Thanks for watching. You can follow Rob's build on his Instagram here, and if you have a build you'd like to show to the channel, leave a comment below. Thanks for subscribing. See you later.